What's going on, fellas? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Tyler Davis. In today's video, we're going to go over the best values of the week number 4 slate here. Now, basically, this video, it's pretty much like a best plays type of video. So if you're looking for like the best picks of the week, this is usually going to be what your closest thing to it is. Obviously, I have a Patreon, which you can find down in the description below, and that's going to go a little bit behind the paywall in depth on by far the best plays for every slate. But in this video, we're going to do the best values. I like to look, under that 6K range. We'll kind of go on the line if it's a little bit over, if it's like 6,200 or things like that really stand out as values. I'll talk about them, but I do try to find the cheap guys at each position that we really want to look at when building lineups. Now, this mainly goes for tournaments. It can also go for cash games as well. We're going to base it off DraftKings, but a lot of these will work on FanDuel as well. So if you do enjoy this type of content, I'm trying to grow the channel here. So please subscribe to the channel. Hit this video with a like. It helps me out so much trying to grow this channel as well. And like I said, follow me on social media at TDavisBrand. I'm going to be starting a TikTok soon as well. I'm going to try to get that going here relatively soon. Try to get some clips of these videos onto the TikTok. So be on the lookout for that. I'll have the same handle as this YouTube channel as well. So let's jump into it here. We're going to go position by position. We will start at the quarterback spot here. There's a lot of cheap options I kind of like this week. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, there's a couple mid-range guys that I think are great. Now, Herbert is a little bit above what I would consider a value, but I think he's in a great matchup here against the Giants. I think Jackson Dart can maybe help push this game a little bit to the over. So Herbert is a great play at 6,300, but I did want to mention some guys just in that mid-range that I think are okay, like Herbert, like Goff. I think Mahomes is okay. I think Stafford's in a good spot here for a double stack I mentioned in my top stacks video. And then we get to some of these cheaper guys. I'm looking at this range here of Daniel Jones and Drake May. The flip side of that Rams game, I think this has potential stack, implications. We can stack both sides. The one issue with Daniel Jones is we don't really know who to stack him with. You got options. You can go Tyler Warren, you can go Michael Pittman, you can go Josh Downs. They're all fine, but it's like none of them really stand out. So to me, I look at Daniel Jones like a cash game guy or like a really small field tournament where you can just kind of play him solo. Maybe you pair him with Tyler Warren, and then you bring it back with Kyren Williams, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. You take your pick there. It's an easy stack. But I think Daniel Jones at that price tag is really good. He's just been super productive in this Shane Steichen offense. He's willing to run. Last week, 25 yards. The week one, over 25 yards. 2 touchdowns on the ground. Week one, he's already got 3 touchdowns on the ground so far. And they'll utilize him in the goal line situations, in the red zone. So I think he's a little bit still underpriced for what he's going to be this year, as what it turns out. I know his price tag's elevating, but I do think he's going to be a little bit high. He's going to be like 6,500, I think, at some point this year. Drake May is the other guy that I feel like similar about. I don't know who to stack him with. You got Diggs, you got Boutte, you got Hunter Henry, you got Pop Douglas. I don't know. I kind of want to just play Drake May solo. So if you're playing cash games, I think he's a fine cash game play because he's going to be productive here against Carolina. You got to think they're going to figure out a game plan here at home. They can win this game. Patriots should have won that game against the Steelers. I am a biased Patriots fan, but they should have won that game against the Steelers. All those turnovers, all those fumbles, just crazy. But Drake May here in this matchup, I don't know who to stack him with or pair him with. Really, I think Hunter Henry's probably your best play option, but this guy is just productive. He can run too. We saw last week he finally got that little bit of that upside on the ground, 45 yards rushing. He has a touchdown on the ground this year as well. So Drake May is a great play at 5,500 here on DraftKings. A couple other guys I did want to mention a little bit cheaper here. Jackson Dart on the flip side of that, I think he's more viable next week against the Saints. But at only 4,500, that's close to minimum price. It really is. And the Chargers defense is good, but they're at home here. And this guy lit up the preseason. So I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued, but Dart at 4,500. I don't think it's cash game consideration yet. I think it's more of a tournament play, but you can pair him with neighbors easily, then run it back with Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson, Omari Hampton, who we're going to mention as a value running back in a second. So there's a lot of options there. And then I mentioned in the stacks video, probably aren't going to like it, but Joe Flacco. There's going to be one of these games where Joe Flacco has a productive game, 300 yards, a couple touchdowns, before he gets benched for Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. Joe Flacco's going to have one of those games, and to me, this is the spot it happens. On the road, in the Dome in Detroit, where last year, and the last couple of years, Detroit has been it's almost like the Coors Field of football. You just stack everyone in this game. It's always high scoring. So if there's a spot that Flacco can do it, I think it's this week against the Detroit Lions. I think he's definitely worth a tournament option here. And you're going to play him with Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, Cedric Tillman, Harold Fanning. There's a lot of cheap options, and then you run it back with all the Lions guys that are super expensive and super productive. One other guy I want to mention, Marcus Mariota. Again, obviously the price tag's up $1,000. Matchup's a little bit tougher against the Falcons, so I'm probably avoiding it. but I do think he is worth that consideration there. And then Mac Jones, if he does play again over Brock Purdy, I think at 5,100 against Jacksonville is okay to consider for a value. This is a quick timeout to let you guys know that I've been a pro DFS player for over 5 years and have over $100,000 in career winnings. And now I'm giving away all my secrets, which you can check out at patreon.com/tdavisbrand. The link is also in the description below. It's going to give you a cheat sheet for every major slate of the NFL season. So Thursday Night Football, Sunday main slate, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, all the major slates, whether it be Showdown or the regular classic slates, you'll have access to my cheat sheet, as well as access to my private Discord where you can ask me anything fantasy football related. And I also have a NFL DFS ebook, How to Win at Daily Fantasy Football. It goes over every strategy you would want to win some cold hard cash this upcoming NFL season. We talk about things like bankroll management, contest selection, how to win GPPs, cash games, etc. So sign up for the free ebook down in the link in the description below. All right, let's go to the running back positions here. It's kind of thin for value this week. I'm not going to lie. We got a lot of studs here we want to play. CMC, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, who I like. Even Saquon, I think, is in a good spot. JT. So it's a little bit tough because you have all these guys you want to spend up for. So the first kind of value that I see, or not even a value, just guy that stands against that pack is James Cook, 7,100. I don't really consider him a value, but I do think he stands alone against that pack of studs there. So I think James Cook is going to see less ownership. In the matchup here, he can absolutely go bonkers. Yeah, they might blow out the Saints. He might get limited playing time in the second half, but I think he can get like 3 touchdowns early and really pay off that salary at 7,100. All right, so then we go to some of the mid-range guys. Of course, Amari Hampton here. I don't know how he's not the best value on the slate. You lose Najee Harris for the year, unfortunately, but that opens up Amari Hampton here, and they should be able to win this game against the Giants. He can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. 7 targets last week, 6 catches. He's going to be the guy, because look, behind him, it's Hassan Haskins, who Jim Harbaugh had at Michigan, is more of a special teams guy. Maybe he'll get a few carries on first and second down, but not much. Maybe they'll sign a guy. They got Vidal back there. Just nothing really stands out. And Omar Hampton, I think, is the guy this week at running back at only 5,900. Cam Scatterboo, same thing here for the Giants. They lose Tyron Tracy. I don't think he's out for the year, but he's out for a couple weeks. Scatterboo, we know at Arizona State could catch the ball in the backfield. 8 targets last week. The offense should be much better now with Jackson Dart. Scatterboo at 5,500 is a tremendous value, in my opinion. Those are the 2 top values right there. Then you got some guys that we can throw in and out. Tony Pollard, 5,600. Titans offense is kind of mid. Texans defense is good, but the opportunity, the workload is there, and that's always what you want in a value running back, is the opportunity, is the workload there, and that's what we have with Tony Pollard, 5,600. Not a bad price tag there at all. Nick Chubb, 5,100. I don't love it. Woody Marks is playing more. You know, he's really only first and second down type of guy, but some goal line touches. A game they can win here against the Titans. It wouldn't surprise me if Nick Chubb got like 2 goal line touchdowns. And there you go. He pays off his salary at 5,100. He's a little bit more of a FanDuel play for me, is Nick Chubb with his profile. And then you also have missed Travis Etienne here, who no one seems to be playing, and he's just been productive all season so far. His average is really, really good on the ground. Matchup's a little bit tough, I know, against the Niners on the road. But if Jacksonville wants to win, they're going to have to give the ball to Etienne. I know they're using Tootin as well, the little split committee. But 5,800, it's not a bad GPP option in my opinion. Let's go to the receiver spots here. We have a bunch that we do like. We'll try to go to that mid-range because there's a lot of studs, of course, that we love. But in that mid-range, I want to start it off with Quentin Johnson here, 5,500 for the Chargers. I love the Chargers this week, as you guys can see. I think the Giants can keep up, and I think that means explosive offense for the Chargers. And I do think they might pass the ball a little bit more now with Najee Harris gone, and that opens up Quentin Johnson as well as Keenan Allen here at 5,300. 2 cheap price tags for guys that should be priced higher, in my opinion, for how good this offense is. You got Jacoby Myers down here. Where's Jacoby Myers? 5,400, right below Quentin Johnston there. He's been super productive. Listen, the upside, the explosiveness is not always there with Jacoby Myers, but this guy is just solid. And the Bears defense has not looked good so far. Raiders at home, I expect a bounce back week after the game against Washington last week. Only 4 targets for Myers, still at 63 yards though, and that's a pretty good day even at that salary if you like to get him in the end zone and we really pay off the salary. So Jacoby Myers is a good salary right there. Let's see what else we have here as we go down. Chris Olave, 5,100. I feel like he should easily be priced higher. If he had a decent quarterback play, he would be. This guy still produces no matter who's at quarterback. 3 games in a row of 50-plus yards. If he falls in the end zone one time here, he's easily paying off the $5,100 salary. And you know they're going to have to pass the ball a ton because they're going to be trailing a ton to the Bills there in Buffalo. So Olave is a great play. You got the Browns guys that, of course, I mentioned, Jerry Jeudy at 4,900, Cedric Tillman, 4,200. Great values here. I think this is the week that Flacco kind of gets loose. I'm hoping, maybe not, but if he's going to do it, this would be the week, and that can open up Jeudy and Tillman as well for some great values there. Niners, Juwan Jennings. This guy, he seems like he's always hurt, but when he plays, he's explosive. And we'll monitor his injury status, obviously, but in week 2, when he did play, he was fantastic. 10 targets, 89 yards, almost 20 fantasy points here on DraftKings. I think he's more the number one over Pearsall. It's pretty close, but both guys can be productive, regardless if it's Mac Jones or Brock Purdy at quarterback. I do think Devontae Smith is fine at 5,400 as well. Love this matchup against the Bucs. Much bigger discount off of A.J. Brown here, and he looked great last week against the Rams here. So you get a nice matchup against the Bucs, who we know are a pass funnel team. They're better at stopping the run, and that can open up Devontae Smith. A couple other guys, really, really thin options here, but I do want to talk about them because they are extremely cheap. As we move down here is, first of all, Tyquan Thornton for the Chiefs. I know Xavier Worthy is back, but Tyquan Thornton's role has been pretty good, and it seems like Mahomes is like, okay, I'm just going to throw it up. Tyquan's down there somewhere, and that's what it's been the strategy last couple weeks. 2 touchdowns have resulted from it, 9 targets last week. So I know Worthy's back. That probably eats into it. But what if he kind of gets it out there and plays with Hollywood Brown, right? Instead of Hollywood Brown, maybe they limit Worthy a little bit. Still think he's worth consideration at only 4K. I don't love it as much with Worthy back. And then you got our man Elik Ayo-Manor for the Titans, the rookie receiver here. He's kind of been the guy. Calvin Ridley, it's been a little bit inconsistent. So I think Cam Ward's starting to grow confidence with Ayo-Manor here. 2 touchdowns, back-to-back weeks, 3,900. I know the matchup's tough against the Texans, but 3,900, you can't go wrong with that price tag. And then the only other guy I did want to mention here for the Bucs, you get no Mike Evans. So I think that can open up Sterling Shepard here. Where is his price tag? He's at 4K. Sterling Shepard, 4K here. I know Chris Godwin's back. He's going to be limited. You got Emeka Egbuka out there who's been fantastic, but I think Sterling Shepard's still going to be out there in 3 receiver sets. And this matchup against Philly, like I said, I think this has shootout potential. And Baker Mayfield trusts this guy, going back to the days at Oklahoma. Let's go to the tight end spot here. Good amount of tight ends kind of in these mid-range price tags, right? Under 4,500, there's a lot to like. Laporta. I'm just going to read them off because I got a bunch. Laporta, Mark Andrews, Juwan Johnson, Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry, Dallas Goedert, David Njoku, Harold Fannin, Kyle Pitts, Chig Okonkwo. Just these guys all in this order. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tight ends right there between 3,500 and 4,400. There's 10 of them in that price range that I think are outstanding plays this week. I'm kind of going back and forth. I got to do my projections, see where they stack up, but they're all viable here. Obviously, you don't want to play Njoku and Fanning together. I probably set a rule there where I max 1 if you're stacking with Flacco. I'm probably not going to play 2 tight ends this week. I guess you could play maybe Brock Bowers and then one of these guys in the flex, but I don't think I'm going to play a tight end and a flex in these price ranges. I guess you could, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think the upside is there. I want a receiver more or running back in those spots. But all these guys are viable. Like, you take a look at it, Laporta always has upside. He's usually priced higher. It's been a little bit of a tough start here, and the matchup obviously is tough against the Browns, but they're still at home in the Dome in Detroit there, 4,400. Still a great price tag. Mark Andrews, who exploded last week, finally, and they get a matchup against the Chiefs. They're going to have to pass the ball. Juwan Johnson's been outstanding. Zach Ertz, I obviously prefer him a little bit more with Jaden Daniels. I still think he's fine at that price tag. Hunter Henry seems like the go-to option for Drake May. And, I questioned, who do I pair Drake May with? Hunter Henry's probably that guy. Dallas Goedert, he's always just solid, not major upside, but always solid. And then I mentioned the Browns guys. Kyle Pitts, who's been better this year. I know that Falcons offense looks a little bit rough, but he's been okay. Chig Okonkwo seems like one of the main targets here for Cam Ward. So I think he's a great option, only 3,500 as well. And then a couple guys below that I did want to mention. I think Brenton Strange is kind of always in play. I don't think he has like major upside, but he's okay. He's solid, low A-dot guy that can catch some balls over the middle for only 3,200. He doesn't need much, and if he falls into the end zone, you are in business there. I think that's pretty much it. I did want to mention if Colson Loveland's out, I think Cole Kmet is okay at 3K as well, but nothing really 3K that I've seen. I think one guy to look at is Oronde Gadsden here. If you get no Will Dissly, we have to monitor that. I'm not sure if they updated Will Dissly's status. I think he's still questionable. If Will Dissly were out, I'm rolling with Oronde Gadsden here a lot at only 2,600. I don't know if I'll play him in cash games, but definitely have him in tournaments. He'd be an outstanding play with no Will Dissly. So that is the top values of week number 4. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out the top stacks video on my channel as well as the under-owned gems video on my channel. Appreciate you guys, man. Stay tuned. Keep it locked here on my YouTube channel. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and give this video a like. I appreciate it so much, as well as subscribe to the channel here on YouTube so you can check out all the videos that I have to offer.